The drawer slammed shut so hard the mirror rattled and I tasted metal before I realized I'd bitten my tongue. My apartment smelled like Chewjoy perfume and dust. My socks were on the couch. My documents were fanned across the table. Someone's fingers were still warm on Mythings. I stood in the doorway, keys dangling, breath stalled in my chest, watching them dig through my life like it was a clearance bin. Relax, one of them said without looking up. Paper rasped, plastic crackled. You're overreacting. I felt my pulse throb behind my eyes. The room tilted. I begged them to stop. I actually begged, the word tasted worse than the blood. They laughed. A quick bright sound. God, you're dramatic. That laugh is where something in me locked into place. I remember thinking very clearly, this is the last time you touch anything, Hoffman. They had always treated my boundaries like suggestions written in pencil. Growing up, doors were symbols, not barriers. Privacy was a phase I was expected to outgrow. When I moved out, they called it independence. What they meant was temporary. The spare key was supposed to be for emergencies. A burst pipe, a fire alarm, not curiosity, not entitlement, dressed up as concern. They came when I wasn't home. They rearranged. They commented. They kept mental inventories of my choices and weighed them against their expectations. You don't need locks from family, they'd say. What are you hiding? Nothing. I had nothing to hide. I just wanted something to keep. They smiled when they crossed lines, like it was a game I didn't know I was playing. Like my discomfort was a punchline. That day they found the envelope. I saw it in their hand before I could stop myself from moving. The envelope I tucked under old manuals behind winter scarves. My name printed neatly, the corner bent from where I'd folded it too many times. Is this money? They asked, eyes bright. Why didn't you tell us you were saving? My throat closed. My hands shook. I reached out, then froze. Every instinct screamed, Booty could already hear the verdict forming. You're being secretive again, they said. We worry. I told them to put it down. My voice cracked. I hated that it cracked. They laughed again. That same laugh. See, dramatic. They didn't fear the sound my trust made when it finally snapped. Or maybe they did and they just didn't care. That was the moment. Not the rummaging, not the jokes, the certainty in their faces that I would swallow this, too. I stopped arguing. The silence surprised them, silence always does. It's not what they expect from someone they've trained to explain themselves. I nodded. I smiled that I even apologized. I said I'd been stressed. I said work was a lot. I said he needed sleep. I watched their shoulders drop as they accepted the familiar shape of me, compliant, predictable, small. Inside, my thoughts were clean and sharp. I waited until the apartment was quiet, until the air felt like it belonged to me again. Then I opened my closet and pulled out boxes I'd never unpacked. I packed with ruthless efficiency. Nostalgia, no hesitation. I left the couch, the table, the lamp they liked. I took only what mattered. Documents, clothes, hard drives, the envelope. I wiped the counters. I vacuumed. I erased myself at 3:12 a.m., I locked the door for the last time and slid the key under the mat. Old habits die hard. They walked in the next morning like always. I wasn't there to see it, but I can picture it perfectly. The way the door would swing open too far, the pause, the confusion, the sound of footsteps echoing where furniture used to be. My phone lit up while I was signing my new lease. Where are you? What is this? This isn't funny that I waited until the papers were signed, until the pen was capped, until my name was official in a place they didn't know existed. Then I sent one message. I asked you to stop. The calls came fast after that. Voices sharp with panic now, accusations, demands. How could you do this to us? You're tearing the family apart. I answered one call. Just one that you can't just disappear, they said. We had a right. No, I said, calm as glass, you had access. You abused it. Silence, breathing on the other end. Fear finally unmasked. You don't get to laugh at my boundaries and keep the benefits, I continued. That apartment was the last place you could reach me without asking. I hung up before they could reply. The fallout was loud. Relatives called, stories twisted. I was painted as unstable, ungrateful, dramatic. The words rolled off me now. They had no leverage left. The spare key went missing. The address stayed secret. The rules changed. Not because I explained them, but because I enforced them. They learned what it felt like to stand in an empty room and realize control is not ownership. I didn't block them. I didn't need to. Distance did the work for me, silence trained them better than any argument ever had. In my new apartment, the air is still. Drawers stay closed unless I open them. My name is the only one on the lease. When I lock the door, it means something. I think about that laugh sometimes. How small it sounds now. How desperate. They thought privacy was drama. They thought access was love, they were wrong. The cleanest revenge isn't destruction. It's absence. And the quiet knowledge that the next time they cross a line, they'll be doing it alone.